Good afternoon, Wildcare family. Welcome to TGIWF, which stands for Thank Goodness It Is Wild Friday. My name is Rebecca. I am the Director of Outreach, Marketing, and Events here at Wildcare, and I have popped into the office to spend part of my afternoon with one of our wonderful ambassador animals, Up, the Eastern Screech Owl, and our animal care coordinator, Jennifer Taylor. So I'm going to mask up and switch my camera over so that Jennifer can educate us a little bit on Up, his environment, how he lives on the Cape, and a few other fun facts.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Jennifer. Take my mask off for this. So this is about Up, who's our educational screech owl, which you might know about and seen before, but we thought it might be interesting for you to see how we present him. And this is the box that we would carry him in to go to a presentation at a church or at Scouts or a meeting. And he's inside there, and this is the procedure to get him out, which people find kind of interesting. So this is the box with a flap and a door and a little knob here. So I'm going to open it, and we're going to see where Up is. Here he is on his little perch. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wake him up. Hey, Up. Time to get up, sweetheart.
Oh.
And I'm going to say, Up. There you go.
Oh, good job, buddy.
All right. So his leash end is attached to this knob. So I have control of him so he can't fly away when I take him out of the box. And now I'm going to take the leash end from here. Okay, so here's Up.
Do you mind stepping
He
over
may
here?
poop.
Thanks.
Okay,
Perfect.
there we go. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Up. I'm going to take his box and put it away so that there's, unless it's kind of rainy out, so we're doing this up in Stephanie's office again. So the history of Up, he's a very tiny owl, but he is all grown. He's 3 years old, I believe, at this point. We have him as an educational owl because he's non-releasable. He was a patient of ours 3 years ago when he was found at the bottom of a tree that had been cut down in Orleans by a passerby who found his siblings not alive anymore and brought this one in later in the evening. And Up had a broken wing, and he was just a little white fluff ball. So he was a nestling who didn't grab with his feet yet. He was just this poor little white nestling. And this is the wing that was broken. And you can see right here that this feather is a little bit out of place. And that feather is attached to his thumb, which they have in their wings. They have the same kind of hand bones as we do. They're all different shapes and sizes, but it's pretty much the same system. He couldn't fly. His ulna and his radius were both broken, these two bones right here. And Dr. Patel over at Cape Wildlife Center tried to pin it, and it didn't catch. So we decided to keep Up as our educational owl along with Nickerson for presentations. And we got to raise him so that he was young from the beginning and got used to us. So I don't let anyone else touch him, but he is kind of a touchable owl. And I can tell you that this is a piece of tree. And Up, I can tell you that many of the owls and raptors we get, and just in general, birds and orphan animals, come from tree work that people do in the springtime. So we like to ask people to hold off until after the fall when the babies are all done to do their tree work. Sometimes it's easier anyway because there's no leaves, that you can see better and it's safer. But this is kind of an example of a typical tree that an owl would live in. And if Rebecca can show the hole here. See this hole? So this is a hole that would have gone farther up the tree. And I can tell you that this is the hole that screech owls like to go into. And this is why people think that there's nothing in a tree, because it might even be a dead tree with no leaves on it anyway. And they bang on the tree and nothing comes out, and they go to cut. And we have had people actually cut through owls in nests, which has been devastating for them. It's a terrible experience. but I've learned from dealing with Up and Nickerson in their house is that when we offer them logs like this, they go deep into them. They'll go all the way in a 4-foot long shaft. So owls don't just stand and look out of a hole and stay right in back of a hole. They go way down deep into the tree. So you really don't know that anything's in there. I thought that was really kind of interesting and noteworthy for you to think of when you're going to cut down a tree. And actually one time somebody had done that to an owl nest and they felt terrible. But I said to them, because we need hollow logs for our animals, especially the owls and the squirrels, everything likes hollow logs. He brought the whole tree in and he sectioned it out. So we had these wonderful hollow logs for about a year that were just awesome for the woodpeckers and the owls and the squirrels and the mice, everything. The wrens, like everything, if you watch it, they use the dead wood, which is a whole other lecture. But I can tell you, if Rebecca can show the camouflage that owls have with these trees. If I put him in front of it, and he's very comfortable right now, so he's kind of fat and isn't going to like turn into a branch. But can you see how camouflaged this bird is? And this is what they look like to other animals when they're still. And if they get afraid and threatened, what they are apt to do is just get really skinny and contorted, and they will actually look like a branch because they won't move, and show your eyes. His big round eyes will turn into slits when they're trying to hide, and their lower lid goes up. He's not going to do that because he's not threatened right now.
No.
But when they're just lazy and closing their eyes like this, the big lower lid goes down. But when they're hiding, like if they've been exposed in the daytime and you see an owl in a tree, he'll have little tiny slits he's looking out of. Okay. Yeah. Is that all right? Okay. You want to get up here? Up, 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 up.
Oh, good job, buddy.
There. So there he is on a tree. Okay, so something else I thought was interesting I like to show people is, see his little beak? See how that's a point? And if he'll open his mouth again, you'll see that he's got a very wide mouth. Can you get that on the camera? So he can swallow a whole mouse without any problem. And this tool here, his beak, is used to rip the flesh. You know, we have forks and knives. They have their forks, and they've got forks down here too. The talons on the owl are basically made for grabbing an animal and holding it while they shred with their beak. And I thought it was interesting to show that here is a plant with the same shaped things, these thorns on a rose bush. I just remember learning in 8th grade science about simple machines, and this is a wedge with a point, and it's a very effective tool, and I think we all can vouch for that. Up, if you have seen him before, you might notice that he looks a little bit shabby because it is the middle of July and he's starting to molt. And down here I have, when I got him out of his house today, I picked up a few feathers that were underneath him. So I don't have all the different kinds of feathers, but birds have different types of feathers that have different jobs. These are the downy feathers that keep them warm. And if Stephanie was here, she could give you all the names. But this is more like a tail feather that is shaped differently for more streamlined activity. And if you can see a close-up of this, on the top edge, you can see how there's a fluffiness to it. Can you get that? That is, that's on the feather so that owls will have silent flight. And something you could do if you want to do a craft activity, you can cut a piece of cardboard nice and smooth and flap it at your friend. And you can cut a piece of cardboard and then make little edges all around. And you can tell that there's a difference in the sound. And so owls have that ability to capture their prey in silence, and which is kind of awesome. But I have been told that because of that, they also sacrifice the ability to be completely waterproof. So there's always a different side to the coin. They do protect their babies in the rain if they're not inside a log by just being an umbrella over them. Okay, so what else can I talk about with Up Up? We can see if he can move his head and talk about his eyeballs.
Sure.
Up, up. There you go.
And I think people would be interested to know that he molts one time a year.
Yeah, one time a year he does molt, and maybe in a few weeks we can show Up Up or Nickerson with a bald head. If they comply. It's very different. They look so different than they look now. This little beak, which you can hardly see as a profile, is this big, huge thing that actually sticks out of his head. You can't laugh at them when you see them, though. No, they can't help it. All right, so can you hear him talking? That's kind of a little warning. But if you look, everyone knows that owls can turn their heads. You have to. Okay. Are you going to look at something for me? Are you going to look at something? Okay. Yeah, look at
What's
Rebecca's
over here? What's over here?
Okay. So you see how I can move his body like this, and if he's looking at anything, it is he's fixed on it. He cannot move his eyeballs like the doctor when the doctor says follow my fingers like that. Owls can't do that. They have evolved so that their eyes are so huge they can see at night because they're nocturnal. And the size of their eyeball, which is much bigger behind what you see, it's like shaped like a floodlight in there, that they have taken up all the space for the muscles that move the eyes. And they're not even round, so they can move. So the owl has the ability to move 260 degrees or something without cutting off the blood flow to their brain. It's all made for them to be able to type. You know how when you're sleeping and you've got your head contorted, you start to hear your veins and all that, and arteries pulsing. So that's pretty cool about it. They are made to be at night. They're made to be out at night. They're a small owl, so they're also prey of larger owls. So they, like if Up Up was a normal owl and he was out in the daytime, he would be so paranoid and he'd be looking everywhere that something could catch him. They eat mice. They eat a lot of insects. They like salamanders and frogs and spiders, and they are pretty multi-eating of everything fleshy. They don't eat plants. They're a true carnivore. And it's interesting that just by happenstance, somebody had a camera, a motion detective camera, and I think it was in California on the western screech owls, not intending to photograph a screech owl, but they saw a screech owl actually dive like an osprey and catch a fish at night. So they're able to do that, which is awesome. There's a lot of things people don't know about so many species. And you can get a close-up look at his talon. Are you going to be good? He does tend to be pretty gentle. But
yeah.
His little feet are padded almost like a lizard. Can you put your foot up? And those long claws, he uses the two in back or in front. He's not gonna, I don't want to stress him out.
No.
Anyway, hearing, his ears are not on the top of his head where it looks like his ears are. You gonna put them up?
Oh, good job, buddy.
Yep. They're actually little holes in their heads, just like a lizard. If you see a lizard who doesn't have any hair or feathers, right in back of the eye. and he doesn't want me to touch him anymore. But they use them for hunting, just like triangulating to hear something and see something. They stand and watch from above. They don't soar and circle like some raptors do. And he's starting to stress out a little bit.
All right. Well, then we will let him get back to napping since we woke him up.
And maybe if people are interested in seeing the owls again, they can give us some questions and we can answer their questions.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
This is different for us. We're usually in front of a bunch of people, and they're constantly asking us interesting things. And if we don't know the answer, we can look it up and tell it for next time. And I can just show you. This is a stress feature. When an owl starts breathing like this, he's had enough. Right, up. So you want to go back into your house? That's what we'll do.
All right.
Okay. So we can put this here, and he'll be very glad to go up. So I'm going to take this leash off. I'm going to put it through this little hole here, and I hook it on the outside. Right up, I do. And then I say, up. Go ahead. He gets in.
Good job, buddy.
There. Say good night.
Good night, buddy.
He says he's
Thank
going
you
back
so
to
much.
sleep. Okay.
I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. Thank you so much to Up and Jennifer for sharing some knowledge with us today. If you do have questions, you can always email us, or you can use Facebook Messenger and send us messages with any questions about owls that you'd like us to answer in the future. Or you can email me. Again, my name is Rebecca, and my email is events@wildcarecapecod.org. Don't forget, every Friday afternoon, we'll be doing TGIWF with updates on either our ambassador animals or patients that we find fascinating that we want to share some updates with you. And Stephanie, for the next 2 weeks, will be doing virtual chats as well, so be sure to email and sign up for those. Also, a quick reminder, Wild Care survives mostly on donations, so if you have a little extra, you can log on to our website, wildcarecapecod.org, and make a donation and help us save many, many of our wild neighbors. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.